Among the many questions asked by parents out there who have sons and daughters who are thinking about becoming a jockey is how do they go about doing it? There are various ways, but we're going to talk to someone that did it in an unusual way. His name is Ryan Pacheco. He's the hottest rider here at Hastings in the last couple of years because he is a barn burner, he's an apprentice jockey. How he did it? He went to school, as he's about to tell you.
I grew up in the city and I always thought I was gonna be maybe a music star, be, singing or something like that. That's what my dream. I changed when I became 18, turned 18. At that time, you're allowed to be able to bet on the horses at the racetrack. So me and my friends, we were a little anxious on gambling, so we started going to the racetrack and I started working with horses, and it was still a little tough for me to be around the horses because I've never been around them at all, and they looked like dinosaurs to me when I first started. I was just looking up at them and I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? But then the more I got used to them, the more I ended up loving them and loving the sport. Thanks
to Chris McCarron, who started a jockey school. You went there. Take us through that journey.
Not only do you learn the horseman's path about riding and horses, you also go through the college too and get a college degree out of it. But going through the school, it was probably one of the best experiences I've had in my life, and I know for a fact that if I didn't go through that school, I probably wouldn't be a jockey right now. Maybe a little bit later in the future, but then I wouldn't have picked it up as quick as I did. And going to the school, they touch up on, well, they teach you all about grooming, all about hot walking. We have classes in the morning where either Chris or another one of the teachers teaches you. It's either about the anatomy of a horse or race riding skills or even exerciser work. And mostly a lot of it is done with Chris.
You graduate the school, where do you go from there?
I went back to Kentucky to ride races over there because I wanted to be kind of under the watchful eye of Chris, and being able to have him there critique me and tell me maybe what I did wrong or what I should do in the race. So that was my next step, was going back to Kentucky.
Now, how did you wind up at Vancouver?
I wound up in Vancouver, well, because since my visa ran out in the States, I wanted to come back definitely to Canada, and I started off at Woodbine. I was still a little awestruck, being able to ride with these the same riders that I've watched over the years, and I found it a little bit difficult and a little bit intense over there at Woodbine with so many apprentice jockeys also. I think of maybe about 15 of them on that side in Ontario, so I know that it was really tough over there for us. And when I started seeing business slow down a little bit, I'm like, you know what, I need experience. I need to get on as much horses as I can. And all the different places I was thinking of going, this was one I was most excited about. And when I got home, I just felt my heart beating a little bit more, and I'm like, yeah, Mom, I think Vancouver is probably the right place for me to go.
You are a hard worker.
I need to get on as many horses as I can, and I need to get that experience. And in order to get that experience and to get on more horses, you have to be out there and you have to go talk to people and you have to work really hard to try to get on these horses. So that was my thoughts. If I'm going to be better in the future, or even now, like, I have to set myself up by working hard to getting to that point where I want to be, because I don't want to be a mediocre jockey. I'm looking to be one of the best.
Ryan seems to develop association with Frank Barabee, who has started many a young rider.
I get to ask him a lot of questions. Well, I do. I ask him a lot of questions, and I want his input because I know that he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, being a leading trainer and leading rider at some point. And yeah, just knowing that he's here, I felt like he was a good person to go to turn to, that if I needed somebody to learn off of, that it would probably be Frank.
I like this kid's attitude. Damn it, like, he's out in the morning, wants to work, and probably the first thing he came to me right off the bat and said, You know, if you can see anything I'm doing wrong or that, he said, I could sure use the help. Well, I've watched him and I like what I see already. You know, that Chris McCarron school's got to be a pretty good school.
Ryan, after you prove yourself here, where would you like to go?
I've been thinking about it a little bit, but I don't want to think about it too much because I want to focus in on Hastings and Vancouver. But then really, it might be later in the future when the time is right. I have a few target places, probably maybe even like Santa Anita if I could, or I definitely would like to go back to Woodbine and race there. The money is great there, and I know lots of people, and it'd be nice to be back home.